So the tips to solving R formula question will be what? Basically, you just need to add either vertical or horizontal lines into the diagram. Okay, so to achieve what? To obtain right angle triangles, then you can apply what? Your torcaso to find the necessary sides of the triangle to solve the question. Okay, so just remember, you can only add vertical or horizontal lines. Okay, no diagonal lines. Okay, so that you can get right angle triangles. Okay. Alright, so before that, there's the R formula which you need to memorize. So these formulas are not given in the formula sheet, so you need to memorize. So that just go through briefly. A sine theta plus B cosine theta equals to R sine theta plus alpha. So if it's sine, if it's here is plus, here will be plus. If it's sine, here is minus, here will be minus as well. Okay, what about cosine? A cosine theta plus B sine theta equals to R cosine theta minus alpha. So if it's cosine first, here will be cosine, and then if it's plus, here will be a minus. Okay, and then if it's a minus, then it will be a plus. So for cosine, it will be opposite the sign. I mean the plus minus. Okay, then if it's sine, the plus minus will be the same. If here is plus, here will be plus. If here is minus, here will be minus. Okay, and then what's the R? Big R. Big R basically is your Pythagoras. Okay, so it's a square plus b square, then whole thing square root, and then tangent alpha. Alpha is your basic angle equals to b over a. Your b will be in this case here, and then a will be here, the coefficient. Okay, so take note that even if it's negative b, you just take b. Okay, you just take the magnitude. Do not take the plus minus. So your b over a will always be a positive answer. Okay, because you want to find alpha, which is from 0 to 90 degrees. Okay, so take note. Even if your this is, let's say it's minus 5, you do not bring minus 5. You just bring 5. Okay, so this one is sometimes might be a common mistake among students. So watch out for it. Okay, next. So torcaso. So just now I mentioned in the first slide, torcaso. So for some of you, in case you all do not know, okay. So right angle triangle. Let's say your angle theta is here. So the opposite side is O, adjacent is A, then hypotenuse, the longest slanting length, will be H. Okay, so it's tangent TOA, cosine is CAH, A over H, and then sine is SO over H. Okay, so it's car and so. Okay, so just an easy way to memorize. Let's look at the first question. In the diagram, ABC is a structured wire into the shape of a triangle where angle ABC is 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. Okay, a metal ring. Okay, with a center O. This is the ring. Radius is 5 meter, touching the side AC. So this radius 5 meter touching AC. Okay, at point touch the point AC. Okay, then it is given that point A is directly below O. A is directly below O, so this one is a 90 degrees. Okay, this will be useful later to find the angle. And then of course your DC is 10 meter. So first thing first, show that AB equals to what? 5 sine theta plus 10 cosine theta, 2 marks. Okay, so add in the horizontal or vertical lines in this diagram to get right angle triangles. So don't forget your job is to figure out what is AB. Okay, AB is here. So your theta is here. So most likely I want to draw a line here to get a right angle triangle. Okay, so I will draw a dotted line here. Okay, then I'll add in my points X and Y. So if you see carefully, right, you can just figure out XD. Okay, then using a big triangle to figure out DY. Then add it out, you'll get your AB. Okay, so next, since this theta, this is 90 degrees, this angle here will be 90 minus theta, your angle side of triangle. And then this is 90 as well. So if this 90 minus theta, this one will be theta. And if this theta, this will be theta as well because corresponding angles. Okay, just use your E.Maths angle rules. Alright, with that, then we can move on. So just get the first triangle. So usually I'll encourage you all to redraw the triangle. Okay, because usually the diagram is too confusing, too messy. So to prevent careless mistake, okay, redraw it. It's OXD, the smaller triangle. Theta is here. Okay, so after that you can apply your OAH. OAH. This is your opposite side because your theta is here, and this is your H. A you do not know is alright, it doesn't matter. Okay, so O and H, so will be sine. Sine theta equals to over H. Sub in your O, sub in your H. O is what? XD. H will be 5. Okay, so make XD the subject. Okay, 5 sine theta, because you are supposed to find xd. Okay, then next we will be doing the similar stuff, but we are doing it for the bigger triangle. Okay, bigger triangle. So this is the bigger triangle, this is the detail. So same thing, we'll apply about OAH inside. Okay, O, A, and H. So in this case, we are trying to figure out A, dy. Okay, you want to find dy. So A and H will be cosine theta. Okay, sum in your A, sum in your H. A will be dy, H will be just 10 meter, just sum in the 10. Okay, make dy the subject, equals to 10 cosine theta. The 10 just cross it over. Alright, so now you have both of them. So just need to add them up. AB will be xd plus dy. Okay, so you have 5 sine theta plus 10 cosine theta shown. Okay, that's all. That's for part A. Okay, so that is how you so-called add in horizontal lines or vertical lines to get right angle triangle. Okay, no diagonal lines allowed. You are not allowed to add in any diagonal lines. Okay, so next, express AB in the form of what? R sine theta plus alpha. Okay, R is greater than 0, alpha is in the first quadrant, 4 marks. So this one you have to use your R formula. So this is from the previous part. Okay, so in terms of presentation, you can write equals to this, then equals to this one. Then still remember, R, what's the formula for R? R equals to what? A square plus B square, square root. So your A will be 5, your B will be 10. Just stop it in. You get square root 1 to 5. It's good that you can reduce it, become 5 square root 5. Okay? Next, tangent alpha equals to B over A. In this case, what's your B? Your B is 10, okay, at the back. A is the front, 5. So it's 10 over 5. Then alpha equals tangent inverse. Tangent, you bring it over, become 2. Okay, 10 divided by 5 is 2. So you press your calculator. Take note, it's degree mode. Sometimes it might be in radian mode. So you just have to see the question carefully. Okay, if it's in radian, just do it in radian. In this case, it is 63.4, 1 dp. Okay, then you sub back, conclude. Your AB equals to 5 square root 5. So you just sub it in. This 5 square root 5. Your alpha is 63.4. So that's your final answer. 4 marks. Okay. Next, for the greatest possible value of AB and the value of theta, right? So from previous part, AB equals to 5 square root 5 sine theta plus 63.4. So for greatest value of AB, we will let the whole trigo part here be 1. Why? Because if you still remember, your sine curve, right, you will fluctuate from 1 to minus 1. So since we want the greatest value, right, we will let this whole trigo component be 1. If you want it to be the least value of AB, you will let the whole trigo component be negative 1. Okay, so let it be 1. So greatest value of AB will just be 5 square root 5 times 1, will just be 11.2 meter 3SF. Okay, next, find the theta. Don't forget, sine theta plus 63.4 equals to 1. Okay, because from here, so sine inverse 1 is just 90 degrees. So theta will just be 26.6 degrees, 1 dp. Okay, next, question 2. The diagram shows about a wooden frame, PQRS. Okay, and then this is 15 cm, this is 10 cm, and then the perimeter of this wooden frame, right, is actually L. So all the 4 sides add up must be equals to L. Okay, so first part, show that L equals to 10 cosine theta plus 10 sine theta plus 40. Then the second part, you use the R formula. And last part, find the value of theta when L equals to 53 cm. Okay, next, at this diagram, so most likely this is the right angle triangle that we try to obtain. So you'll draw a horizontal line, and then you can label this point as point X. And then next we will just redraw the triangle. Okay, so it's clearer. So label our OAH. Theta is here, so this side is O, then this A, and then longer slanting will always be the H. So since we want what, we want this side, okay. So O and H will be what? Sine. Sine theta equals to O over H. O will be QX. Your H will be 10. Just sub it in. Make QX a subject. 10 sine theta. Okay. So we already figure out what is this one. So don't forget, you need to find the perimeter. So basically, you have the 10, you have the 15, and then you have this one already, which we found, which is the 10 sine theta. This is another 15. We need this one as well. So this is the A. So if you want A, and then you have the H. A and the H will be what? Cosine theta equals to A over H. Okay? Car. CAH. So sub in your A, Rx, H is 10 as usual. Make Rx a subject. 10 cosine theta. Okay, so you have both sides already. Then you just need to add them up. Okay? So this 10 sine theta, you can label here. This is 10 cosine theta. And then you can figure out L equals to what? 10 plus 15 plus 10 sine theta plus 15 again plus 10 cosine theta. Okay, then just add up everything, arrange nicely according to this form shown. Okay, 10 plus 15 plus 15 is 40. So take note, I don't put the sine theta in front of the cosine. I will make it exactly the same, cosine theta in front. Okay, so this one is very important. If you put 10 sine theta plus 10 cosine theta, right, later on when you do your R formula, you might get a wrong answer. Okay, so make sure you leave it in the exact form, exactly same as what they're trying to show. Okay, 10 cosine theta, 10 cosine theta, then this sine, then 40, 40. Okay, so that's for part 1 shown. For part 2, using your previous part answer, express L in the form of what? R formula plus C. Okay, so same thing. So this is your previous part answer. Okay, so most likely your plus C is this plus 40 here. So from here, I'll write down equals to this one. So this is how you present it. Okay, so same thing. So this whole part here will become your R cosine theta minus alpha. Okay, still remember, if it's cosine, here will be cosine, but if it's plus, right, here will be minus. Okay, find out R first, your formula. Always good practice to write down the formula. R is equals to a square plus b square whole thing square root. Your a will be 10, your b will be 10 as well. So just sub it in, get square root 200, and then 10 over square root 2. Next one, tangent alpha equals to what? B over a. Okay, so your b will be 10, your a will be 10 as well. So alpha equals to tangent inverse 1, which is 45 degrees. Okay, 1 dp. So in this case, we assume to be degree. Okay, so usually it will be stated in the question. If the question did not state clearly, you are allowed to ask your teacher whether it's in degree or radian mole. Okay, most of the time will be in degree. Okay, then you just conclude L equals to 10 square root 2 cosine theta minus 45. Okay, your alpha is 45, then don't forget your plus 40. Okay, that's all. So very straightforward, 2 marks. Part 3. Hence, find the value of theta when L equals to 53. So from our previous part, you already have the formula 10 square root 2 cosine theta minus 45 plus 40. So now you just replace your L with what? 53. So you bring the 40 over, you get 13. So the rest remain the same. Then you can divide this over. 13 divided by 10 square root 2 equals to cosine theta minus 45. Okay, so you can find your alpha. Cosine inverse what? This one. So basically you bring your cosine over. Okay, 13 over 10 square root 2, you get about 23.18 degree. Okay, 2 dp, just to retain your accuracy. Then theta minus 45 degree equals to 23.18. Then just bring this over, you get theta equals to 68.2 degrees. Okay, 1 dp. Okay, next. Question 3, last question. The diagram shows what? Two circles, C1 and C2, touching each other in the first quadrant of the plane. C1 has a radius of 5 units, touching the Y axis. So this is the bigger circle, okay, touching the Y axis. And then you have C2, radius is 4 units, touching the x-axis, okay, at E, okay, touching here, okay, this 4 units. So the line AB joining the center of C1 and C2, okay, it meet the x-axis at F, and then the angle here is theta, okay. So this one is slightly a little bit more complicated, okay. So same thing, find expression for OD and OE in terms of theta, and then you need to show this statement, and then change this statement into your R formula, and then of course find the greatest value of DE and then the corresponding theta, the standard question. Okay, so just focus on the part 1 first. OD is here, OE is here. Okay, so make it a bigger one. Okay, so same thing, you need to add what's the simple trick here? You need to add a horizontal line or vertical line to obtain right angle triangle. So you have a right angle triangle here, okay, or you can have a right angle triangle here. So most likely I want the right angle triangle here because I'm interested in OE, okay, OE and OD here. Okay, so I'll draw a horizontal line here, and then I'll draw a vertical line here, 90 degrees. So I have a nice small right angle triangle here. Okay, and since this is theta, this guy here will be theta as well. Okay, so just label point X first, and then this is your theta. Okay, then next, okay, so try to redraw the triangle. Okay, this triangle, so it's clearer. So take note, this is 5 units, this is 4 units, so add up will be 9 units. And then this is my theta, of course, because of what? Corresponding angles. Okay, your E.Maths. So same thing, label our OAH. This is O, this A, and this H. Okay, so in order to find OD, you need to find this one plus what? Plus another 4. Then you get your OD. How you find OE? You need to find XB, then you add a 5. Then you get OE. Okay, so first thing first, we need to find here AX, you need to find XB. Okay, so first, sine theta equals to O over H. We find AX first. Okay, sub in your O and H. AX over 9. Make AX the subject, you get 9 sine theta. Very straightforward. Next, how you find A? A and H will be cosine theta equals to A over H. Sum in your A, which is XB. H will be 9. Okay, then make XB the subject, you get 9 cosine theta. Okay, so with that, you can sub it in. So OD will be what? 4 plus 9 sine theta. 9 sine theta plus a 4, which is here. Okay, 4. So you get your OD. What about OE? Same thing. 5 plus 9 cosine theta. You get your OE. Okay, so the first part is done. Next, you need to show DE square. If you see carefully, DE square is here. So you have OD and OE, and then DE square. So most likely is a right angle triangle. You are doing what? Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so Pythagoras theorem, DE square equals to OE square plus OD square. Okay, so OD you can sub in, OE you can sub in. Okay, so you get this one. Then you just expand out using your rainbow formula. You get this guy. Okay, so 16 and 25 you can add it up. You get 41. The rest you can just copy. 90 cosine theta, just copy. 72 sine theta, you can just copy. 81 cosine theta and 81 sine square theta, right? You can combine them. Because why? Cosine square theta plus sine square theta is your famous formula. It becomes equals to what? 1. Okay, so it just equals to 81 here. Then 81, 41, you get 122. Then this two term you can just copy exactly. 90 cosine theta plus 72 sine theta shown. Okay, so same as this one. Make it exactly the same form. If they put 122 in front, you just put it at the front, same thing. Okay, so just take note, this is DE square, it's not DE. Okay, total 3 marks. Okay, for part 1. Part 2, so time to do your R formula. So from previous part, DE square equals to what? 122 plus 90 cosine theta plus 72 sine theta. So equals to this one. You copy exactly like this for presentation. Then you can find your R and find your alpha. R equals to what? Formula again, good habit. R equals to A square plus B square square root. Your A will be 90. Your B will be 72. So sub it in. You get this one. If you can simplify, you get 18 over square root 41. Okay. Next one. Tangent alpha equals to what? B over A. Okay. Your B will be 72. Your A will be 90. 122 just leave it because it's just a constant. Okay. Sub it in. 72 over 90. Alpha equals to tangent inverse 72 over 90, which is 38.7 degrees, 1 dp. Okay, then you can conclude, sub back into your this equation. DE square equals to what? 122 plus 18 square root 41 cosine theta minus 38.7 degrees. Okay, 3 marks. Last part, find the greatest value of DE and then the corresponding theta. So same thing. So from the previous part, answer, DE square equals to this. So if you want the greatest value, right, your whole trigo part here, okay, for cosine, right, your cosine graph, it can fluctuate from what? 1 to minus 1. So if you want the greatest, you let this whole cosine term be 1. Okay? You let it be 1. So answer will just be DE square equals to 122 plus 18 square root 41 times 1. So it's just 18 square root 41. Then you just press in your calculator, 3SF. Just remember the square root, you get 15.4 units, 3SF. Okay? Then don't forget, okay, you need to find the theta as well. Okay, always look at the question. Don't just stop at this part here. Okay, find the corresponding theta. So we say this whole thing equals to 1. Okay, cosine theta minus 38.7 equals to 1. Cosine inverse 1 is just what? Like 0 degrees. Okay, so this one bring it over, make theta the subject, you get 38.7 degrees, 1 dp. Okay, so just remember the trick. Always add horizontal line or vertical line, and then get a right angle triangle, then apply your Picasso. Okay, and then don't forget, you need to memorize the R formula. It's not given in our formula sheet. Okay, so that's all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, bye.